Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 72 of our Let's Play series, War in the East 2, Stalingrad to Berlin campaign. In this episode, we're going to be covering the second half of our front line in turn 37 as we look to make advances around Kursk and down south to try and reinforce and continue our breakout around Odessa. So, looking forward to this episode with all of you. Again, couple of housekeeping notes I'm just going to have for the next couple videos. A lot of newer folks, it seems, looking at some of the content. If you are new to the Gary Grigsby games, or specifically War in the East 2, please do check out some of the other playlists and begin at the beginning of the playlist, as generally I'll go a little bit more in depth around mechanics and how to play, whereas in these episodes, that's really not going to be the focus, as we're in the later stages of the playlist. So appreciate all of your support, everyone, and as always, let's have some fun gaming together. So, we left off just north of Kursk, south of Orel here. I do think we are going to try to take advantage of the situation north of Kursk. We do have the 22nd Panzer here that is pretty low on supply, but I'd rather try to focus here this element of the 69th Infantry Division to see if we can't break through there. Because if we can break through here and even make it arguably to this river hex, the supply situation for the 22nd Panzer is only going to get worse. And it should make it much simpler than for us to try to cut them off. We will have a little bit of trouble probably with the 4th SS Panzergrenadier Division, but we'll worry about that in a moment. So let's begin just with an assault on the 69th Infantry Division. I am expecting that they're probably going to have some units in reserve helping out in the defense, but we need to try to be, what's the right word, careful by not overextending on the first assault and then having nothing that can actually break past this hex. So let's see if the 1 Rifle Division can get the job done. Here we see that they did have some units in reserve that are helping, so that's a little unfortunate. I don't think we're going to be able to continue on with them, but now we'll try it with the Rifle Corps. And here we see that we are successful, and they did retreat after sustaining some losses. We don't quite have enough movement points to move forward, though. This Rifle Division is going to be able to fill in that hole, so that's good. And then let's see if we can get this other Rifle Division here to help reinforce them a little bit. So we're not going to be able to make it to that hex, it looks like, which is unfortunate. But we're going to take a look at these 2 Rifle Divisions, and let's see, part of 2 different armies, let's see if we can get them maybe some armor support in case the 22nd Panzer does try to actually break through there. And, not a lot of options. We're going to add this separate tank regiment, though. That should give them a little bit of a boost. Looks like it's added about 31 armor to them, so that's helpful. And with a defensive value of 9, the enemy being on very low supplies from a supply situation, should be just fine there. We are going to move forward here with this Rifle Corps, and we'll move forward with this Rifle Division. And I don't think that's going to be worth it because of the fortifications that they have there. It would be tough to make any progress, I think. We have left this hole in our line. I'm not expecting them to actually take advantage of that, given that most of their mechanized forces do seem to be having some constraints from a supply perspective. We can see if maybe we can isolate if it's fuel or if it's ammo. So it's not fuel. And looks like a little bit of ammo problem, which means that it's probably just the supplies and food stuff that they're having issues with. But that's going to impact morale and just operational efficiency. So pretty happy with how this is looking. Definitely a weak point here, vulnerable to a counterattack. We might take, let's see, we take this Rifle Division up here maybe. So if they do actually counterattack, put them in reserve, and then they're also going to be in this fortified hex, which should give them some trouble if they want to actually make some type of breakthrough, which again I'm doubting is going to be their objective. When we look directly around Kursk, we see that since last turn, and especially 2 turns ago, they have really reinforced Kursk. They have thrown a lot at the city, and this is the timing and circumstances are very different than the historical battle around Kursk, but they're throwing just about the same number of things at the city. So the first thing that I want to do is make sure that, we advance pretty far with this mechanized unit here. I want to make sure that they don't get cut off and that we don't have any concerns about counterattack there per se. So we're going to bring this rifle corps up here. And then let's take this rifle division up here. These 2 units will move up. So this first guard's tank corps, they're not doing too great, are they? Yes, you see supply, they've gotten 20 out of 58 needed fuel, 98 out of 259 needed ammo, 112 out of 363. So we're not going to push with them. We'll bring this rifle division that we had in refit, and we'll bring them forward here. Not expecting a breakout, but I just want to make sure we reinforce these lines and do our due diligence here. We'll bring this rifle corps forward, and then we'll actually... Oh, that armor was in refit. We'll take these guys up. So that's good. Let's now press, though, to see if we can't get into that hex. So Panzer Division was committed. Elementum and Infantry Division, that's going to be tough. Yeah. Lost 47 armor in that engagement. That's not fun. And tried again. Nope. Don't think we have quite enough to do it again. That's unfortunate because they're going to probably be able to dig in, which means we're going to have to go even further around the city. Not the end of the world, though. Not the end of the world. Going to bring these units forward. And we'll come up here. Want to make sure we're really pressing this as much as we can. And then we'll take this rifle division up, this tank corps up. It's getting a little slim with our advantages, but here, let's try to push through. Romanian infantry division was committed, but it wasn't enough. So that's good. Can we get on the other side of that river? Doesn't look like it. Okay. And I don't think we want to try to break through there, but we will try to continue the advance here. So all 3 elements of those infantry divisions all retreated there. That's good. And this rifle division, these rifle divisions, these guys have just all been so beat down, it's incredible. Let's try to push with this rifle corps. Yep, so they retreated as well. I can only imagine that the German forces are in a very similar position with the status of their units right now. Because it has been a long fight down here. And we did encircle Kharkov. I want to see if we can't force our way through perhaps this turn. That would be tough. That's like 1-to-1 almost. Well, so before we do it, let's maybe take this rifle division, take these 2 rifle divisions up here, and then this whole stack's going to come up. And over here, We have our artillery. I do want to give this a try. Oh, did we actually manage it? Oh, we actually took Kharkov. They all surrendered. Wow. And I'm wondering, from a victory point condition, where that's going to put us. We didn't get it ahead of schedule, so we don't get any bonus for that, but wow. I'm glad we pushed it. On paper. It did not look like we would take the city, but we did. Sometimes you just got to push a little. We'll bring the artillery up there into the city, and then we'll bring some of these HQs across the river. Okay, so that's good. This artillery will take up another hex as well. Continuing along the line, we have some situations here where they've just got 2 for a defensive value, so let's try to break through here. So they retreated. Minimal losses on both sides, though. And let's see if we can't push through on this one. They retreated as well. I just don't want them getting dug in. That's really such a big part of this. I don't want them getting themselves dug in. I want us to be able to continue to advance through. So we also have some of this in the back that might be able to now take advantage of the situation. So let's see if we can press through even further. So we routed them. That's always a good result for us. And then here, this tank corps. I don't think they would actually be able to press through anywhere. Just not strong enough. But we'll bring this rifle corps up here where we just had the success, and we'll try to press south here. So we took another depot, which is just going to hurt their supply situations anymore, and we routed both of the units that were there. So this is going to turn into a pretty serious hole that they have to try to fill on the line. We have the 18th Panzer here. I think we should try to pressure them. So that's 4-1. We're not crossing any tough geography. We don't have... So we do have some armor with that rifle corps. And if we look here, yeah, they're doing all right from a supply and stuff. See if this rifle division, if we can add any armor. No, it doesn't look like anything's really available. We'll try it with what we have then. So we did retreat them. They lost 22 armor. We lost 23. Trading 1-to-1 armor with the Germans is something we're always going to sign up for, right? We've got no problem with that. These 2 rifle corps, let's try to toss these guys in 2. We'll try to push here. They retreated again. Just about 1-to-1 on armor once again. So that's positive news. And then let's see if we can press back here. It's going to be a 2-to-1. They had some support committed. And it was enough, but we did reduce their fortifications down. We're not going to have enough to actually continue forward, or are we? No, we don't. Alright, that's fine. I think, were there some battles over here last turn that we wanted to look at? No, it's once we get down here, so we'll look at that in a moment. We're going to keep going along on the line, though. Over here, let's press behind them. So they had a Panzer Division element committed. Wasn't enough. Again, they lost some more armor. See if these guys can... Oh, I don't want the artillery to go in there. See if this rifle division can make it in. And maybe we can even get these guys up there. Yeah, so now this is going to force them to think about, do they actually want to stay here? I should have done this from the get-go. That's a much better strategy than trying to go more head-on there. But we're going through this a little quick at this point. Let's move these guys forward. And let's try to press the advantage here. Cavalry division was committed and an infantry division element. Shouldn't be enough though, we should get it. And we got another depot, which is what I was hoping might be there at that crossroads with that town city. Can't remember the classification. So that helps immensely. And I didn't, one of those, the rifle division. Yeah, should have looked at that. But we're going to press on the HQ if we can. Let's see if we can do a bit of a blitz through. We did, so that pushed back the HQ that was there as well. And then we can start advancing some of these units that were in the back. There are some decent rifle divisions, so that's good. We'll start to form a bit of a line. Take you up there. You can come down here. Take these two rifle division. No, we'll take the guards rifle division there. The other we will put here in the center, I think. I wonder, what do we have? I don't know if that feels like a bit of a rush decision there. And over here, they're hurting, so let's take these rifle divisions south. And then let's press on here. So Panzer Division was committed. Should have thought about that a little bit. So they're going to manage to hold. Oh my goodness. That was a bit of a tank battle. So let's look at that. So here's ours, and then we'll look at the counterattack they had after our last turn. We lost 79 out of our 89 armor. They lost 16 out of their 146. We lost 6,000 men. They lost 300. That was horrible. And they had 43 Tiger tanks defending that with 32 Panzer IVs. And we had on our side, yeah, we didn't have any KV-1s. It was just really T-34s was the bulk of it. What a disaster. Let's see how they all performed. So, oh my goodness. Their armor just did a number on us. So the Panzer IVs had 20 AP hits. The Panzer IIIs had 82. Really, it was the Panzer IIIs that were the most efficient here. Look at this. So I'm surprised. At a range of 522, probably with the fortified positions that they were in as we advanced, they destroyed with AP hits 27 units and damaged a further 32. And those are probably almost all guaranteed to be armor from our side. The Tigers, I don't know what they were doing. Because it was at such a short range, it's like they came in at the end. I'm guessing that the Tigers are just part of their 505th Heavy Panzer Battalion. Interesting. So that didn't go well. Let's look at where they actually counterattacked last time. And we saw this in a little bit of a recap. So there was nothing too dramatic here, actually, but we did see these units all retreat. And while we've got it up, we'll look here at some of the other counterattacks they had. They pushed us back here. We took some pretty heavy losses, 2,000 men out of 9,000. Well, around to 10,000, I suppose. And they attacked with 52,000 men. We didn't stand a chance. Look at what they attacked with. Look at all this. That's insane. Down here, they attacked with 26,000 men. We lost 4,000. We lost almost all of our armor. They had 284 armor. So there are some serious forces that they have in the south here. This was pretty much a 1-to-1 in men, but we lost 4,000 men, and it was largely probably due to the 193 armor that they had involved. So given this, I think we're going to take a slightly different tone, as we go through the rest of the front line here of let's reinforce a little, right? Let's make that the message of the day. I don't think you need to be on refit anymore, but we can put you under reserve. So this will be a bit of a surprise for them. We were bringing the 51st Army south, if I remember correctly. So I think we still take them south, but let's kind of spread them along the front here. So we can take you off of refit. You can come off refit for brigades. You're looking plenty fine. Let's have you come up here. And then this rifle division can, oh, you're unready. So you're going to have to stay and refit back here with the HQ. Arty division will go into reserve. But yeah, let's take the 51st Army and let's move them down here. I think this is Zaporizhia. We'll put the HQ in the city. This unit we're going to have to find a new home for real quick. I probably messed that up a little bit. But they can go with the 65th Army, it looks like. And then we're going to take this rifle corps, and they're going to come down here and then reinforce that hex. And then we've got these two rifle divisions. We'll bring them forward here. This rifle division will go where the Arty is. We're going to be on reserve. This rifle division will come down. We're going to come down south here, and we're going to go into this hex where they did have it fortified. And then these two rifle divisions, we're going to bring down here and have them both on reserve. If I can click that correctly. I've left a bit of a hole here, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I'm a little worried about that, I suppose. Is there anything that maybe I missed up here? This rifle brigade, I suppose. We'll have them come here, toss them into reserve, and let's see if there's room in the 18th Army for them. Not really, but we're going to put them there. This HQ we need to move up. I should have kept a better eye on some of these HQs, I think. You can come up here. This rifle unit we'll bring over here. Alright. There's that. The 28th Army. Oh my goodness. Let's see if getting them into the city is well enough for distance. It looks like it is. This mechanized unit. I wonder if it makes sense to move them up here and transfer them. Maybe not, because we're pretty vulnerable in the south too. My goodness. Cavalry division. We'll have them come south here and just kind of fill in that one spot on the line, put them into reserve. Along with this rifle division, this mechanized unit's going to come with where the HQ is today. And these are probably all the guys that retreated. It looks like it. This one was routed. Oh my goodness. It's all a mess. My goodness. We're going to get the HQ off the line. I don't want to put them on the other side of that river though. So we'll go here. So this is again a little bit of a defense in depth. Can I move these units forward though? So instead of having to defend 2 hexes, I just have to defend 1. Let's do that. Let's do that. I think that works much better here. Even if they break through, they're still going to have to push through the line. A little tighter down here, but with the swamp, I'm hoping that helps us considerably. Boy, looking at some of those numbers they had out here, I mean, counterattacking with 50,000 men, 25,000 men, 200 tanks each. Must all be reserves from the Western Front Theater, which we've been getting reports, right, that they haven't committed enough to. I'm not going to do anything aggressive down here, right? We're just going to hold this exactly where it is. We're going to let ourselves dig in on the swamp. Ideally, we've talked about this in other episodes, this red rail line stretching north to south. This black rail line over here, this is the one I meant, would be so key to be able to connect from the Dnepropetrovsk. Oh my goodness, I should have done better with that. Connecting that rail line to the rest of the rear and kind of the Stalingrad direction down to our advance by Odessa, but we're not going to be able to break through this anytime soon. So we're just going to have to continue routing stuff around here through kind of the Crimean Peninsula, which is a little unfortunate. Looking here again, we're going to keep all of these just as they are. I'm really tempted to just kind of push there, just a little push, but I don't think we're going to. As a matter of fact, I'm debating. I think we're actually going to pull you back. Yeah, I don't want us getting caught out here. Let's go back to where we have the fortified hexes. Like those two hexes, we don't gain anything from having them. And clearly the enemy is ready to counterattack in various spots. I think down here by Odessa we should take a look at. Yeah, they did counterattack all the way here. It really wasn't with much, though. It was just with the 215th Infantry Division. Minimal losses for both sides. So nothing too serious there. But it looks like they've done a lot of recon here. So this worries me that maybe they're scoping out the fact that we're ferrying stuff across. We don't have a good defensive line here, and they might try to actually break through. So that's a bit of a concern. I think we will take this rifle unit that had been pushed back, and we're going to bring them back where they were. We're going to take this rifle brigade and bring them up here. Bring this rifle brigade here. I hate to do this, but we're going to take... Well, no, we're going to leave them there. We will put them on to reserve, though, because they're in refit right now. We need to get them out of that. This motorized group. What are all of these part of the 47th Army? These are the 37th Army. So let's put these guys into the 37th Army. Which is way over capacity, which is really what's hurting all of their supplies. I need to get them out of things like Stavka stuff. So this is where we look down by Odessa. They've actually, you can see, started to bring units up here, and this is the line that they clearly want to try to defend. I hate the thought of just giving them this ground because this is going to be tough to get back. But I don't think we're left with much choice right now. We're maybe a little off balance here, where we may be better taking this tank corps and moving them over here. You guys see what I'm saying? You see we've got these two units that are pretty strong. They're fortified. I don't know that we need to be one hex further. We had hoped to try to clear this crossroads, right? But we clearly don't have the force for that right now. So we're going to give up ground, and we're going to move this tank corps over to this side of the front. So that gives us a much more consistent line of defense. Our weakest point is right here, very much so. Let's look at actually maybe reinforcing that as well. So we'll bring this rifle brigade there, I think. Here we've got more issues with staff gun stuff. You're part of the 47th, so we're going to put you in the 47th. Same with you. Thought I'd cleaned all these up last episode, but maybe not. And I am honest, yeah, we're going to move you here. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And this HQ for the 37th Army. I'm wondering if we're going to be better served putting it here in this port city. I think that might make sense. Let's do that. Okay. So the South is looking a little precarious, right? There's a little bit of concern here in the South. Everything is going so well in the North by comparison. I would hate that we, lose. I mean, if they really did manage to push through, and if they cut off these ferries in this connection here, if they managed to do that, all of these forces by Odessa, we would lose. They would be completely encircled, and they would just slowly get ground down without really any meaningful supply other than what's coming through the port. And that would put us in a really, really tight spot. We'd also lose some of the victory points, right? And it would, I think we can all agree that the scenario is probably settled that we will win, but it would substantially decrease how early we win if they manage to cut through. So this is shaping up to be the greatest challenge that we've faced so far. Not to say the last 10 or 20 episodes probably, is how do we properly defend this. Now, one issue we have consistently had is, from an HQ perspective, we just don't have enough capacity here. We also, frankly, need more troops down here. And what I noticed is our Far East theater box, we haven't looked at in a while, and it's looking like it has enough units, and our reserves also look like they have enough. So let's see if we can't find either some fighting formations that we could bring over here, or if we have any HQs. As luck would have it, we have the 4th Tank Army. So we're going to take you to the map. And I think we're going to take the steppe front as well. So we're going to have a delay on that. But that should help with some of the logistical concerns. Then we have these tank battalions, tank brigades. So let's take this tank brigade onto the map. We have this Guards Mechanized Corps. Let's put you on the map. I don't really think we need any artillery right now. Nor anti-air. Do we have... Yeah, let's get some of these SP guns to the map. I don't know if you guys remember from previous episodes, but for the longest time, we were actually having difficulty getting the, I think it was the 152s manufactured in any capacity, but it looks like that's been resolved. So let's get these to the map, because putting these in some of those units that are in the south, where they're fighting these larger panzer elements, right, where there's 200 armor coming up against us, these guys can make a big difference, right, because they can penetrate the armor of a Tiger and more than handle a Panzer IV. So I think getting these available would be very helpful. So we'll start with that. And I don't think we're going to use any of the rocket units or anything right now. And then when we look at the far east box, is there anything we can look at here? So there are some rifle divisions. How green is the far east box? We're 101% of requirements for ground. So let's see how that all shakes out. I think we could probably take some of those rifle divisions. Let's take let's take 2 rifle divisions. Let's take 2 rifle divisions. They look like they're in a good spot. It's going to take us 4 turns though, which is not great. But we'll get them out of the far east, and then that's 10,000 more men that can maybe help reinforce around Odessa. So now that we've done that, we of course can't forget to look at our rail situation. So let's go and find our rail unit. Where did we leave them? Oh, we had one down here, but perhaps we don't. Were we building up this way, perhaps? There we go. So this guy will come over here and connect these lines. Let's connect to the city here. Can we take one of you out? Okay. So now when we look at that, those will be connected, and then we can keep going this way. Next. Over here, let's have you come south. I'm more worried about all the routes south than anything else, because that's where we need supplies as much as possible, is by Odessa. Okay, so that's looking much better. Where else do we have some of these units? You guys are doing a good job kind of cleaning up behind the lines. You can see, though, there's this big gap where there's not much going east-west. And that's going to start to become a problem for us as we push on Kursk. Nope, that's one of the formation ones. I think we have a few over by where we are advancing in Königsberg. Of course, we have this one as well. I don't know if it makes sense to prioritize going there. I almost think I'd rather go south with you, because I don't know what we're getting from that. Well, no, actually, I think that might make sense. Does it? Train takes freight here, and then they use these roads to go south, maybe? Is that the logic of it? I think we're going to prioritize down here. We're going to go fill all this out. Okay. So that should help a lot. Where else? I think it's over here. Yep. This all becomes a bit of a mess, and I think we have 2. Yeah, so there's the other one. So let's start with you. We're going to go this way. That as far as I can go? No? So that's already been repaired. Come over there. And then you can come south. And boy, do we need the help down here. Looks like we've already run out of movement points, though, considering we were going through all this swamp. So that ended quickly. You're not... Do we have any more? That might be all of them. Okay. So that takes care of that. Let's go ahead and let the AI sort out some of the depots, which I'm sure are a bit of a mess right now. These are still enemy-controlled hexes. That was what I was seeing there. Okay. And we'll end turn. Let's see what we get from the AI here. Let's get past just some of these missions. So we ferry stuff around. Let them build out their logistics. This is a pretty interesting episode. The South is developing into a bit more of a concern than I had in the past few episodes. Just given the potential and seeing those battle results was really a bit of an eye-opener. We haven't seen them counterattack like that. Probably 10 turns or more. So it was a surprise. And again, the threat of Odessa forces being cut off is very real. We're still ferrying stuff there across that waterway. We need to find a way to try to prioritize that breakout. And, you know, we could look at some areas of the front and we could maybe say we're going to just hold this specific line and we're going to take specific armies, maybe rail transport them down there now that we're getting some of the rail fixed up, and just do a complete reallocation of some armies. Or, of course, there's the other vision of, well, let's not try to break through Odessa. Let's try to hang on as best we can with what we've got there. Let them continue trying to break through the defensive lines that we've set up, thus expending, you know, resources, supplies, formations in the last hope that they have. Well, we continue our march on to Minsk and Königsberg and all of these other key areas of the front. Those are probably the two things that are under consideration right now, and I don't have... Frankly, I haven't made up my mind of which one we might try to go with. Both are, of course, interesting. Both would present some interesting mechanics to kind of go through where, you know, how do we organize the strategic redeployment of some armies and move them halfway across the theater. Whereas the others, it's just going to be fun to continue rushing towards some of these objectives like Minsk and Königsberg. So it'll be fun. I'm certain of that. So here you see that they're transporting freight, but now they only have the option of coming in from the south, it looked like, if I saw that correctly. Whereas before, I'm pretty sure they were bringing in supplies from south of Leningrad. You see that they are counterattacking here just west of Stalino, and my goodness, there were 90,000 men in that attack that they just had. North of Kursk here, they just threw 67,000 men at us, and we held the line. Here's 25,000, and we did retreat. That is a lot. They're going to try to encircle us there. That was another 40,000 men against our 35,000. They have encircled some of our forces there, just north of Kursk. This is getting to be very interesting. They've now pushed us back and have broken through. Wow. Not exactly sure how to react to all of this. And the forces that they encircled, I think they made a bit of a blunder there. They let us rout and retreat back. This is going to be a very... I think I said this last time we ended the turn. This is going to be a very interesting debrief when we get into the next episodes. My goodness. Look at them all along the line counterattacking. This is crazy. Here we're back kind of in the south by Stalino. Wow. That Kursk pocket has me worried now. A futile attempt here to try to actually break out there. I mean, what else are they going to do? We're holding just fine, it would seem. Yeah, and you know, maybe the answer is in 2 or 3 turns these forces around Leningrad. Maybe that's what we start to redeploy, right? Put them onto the trains and send them to the south. That might be the option, right? Continue our press towards Königsberg, continue our press towards Minsk with what we have there, and take these forces from around Leningrad and send them to the South Theater. That might be an option that we should consider. Because then we don't have to necessarily stop advances elsewhere on the line. And clearly, in some parts of the line, we just need to reinforce to survive, i.e., Kursk. My goodness. That was incredible. Nothing by Odessa, though. It looked like down there everything stayed fine, which I'm encouraged by. So there is that. And now we go through some of our logistics, and then we'll get the end of turn summary. Yeah, look at this. They've taken all of those hexes back, completely cut through, completely. Looks like they did it. You know, maybe this is the AI sitting there with some of its coding going. Throw tanks at Kursk and see what happens. Maybe that's what we're witnessing here, which is, of course, a little nice thing from a thematic perspective to witness with the AI's behavior. But we'll see how we're going to deal with it. Probably not next episode, but the episode following. We're going to have a lot of fun next episode, I think, continuing to mop up around Leningrad and our continued advance towards Königsberg. The distance at which our northern flank is so much further west than the rest of the line is really quite impressive. And I'm curious how long we can keep pushing that. Almost done with the logistics here. And then we'll be off to see the top line numbers, which will be very interesting this time, I think. I don't know that it's going to be a 1-to-1 on between the two sides. All right, so let's see. From an infantry perspective, we actually managed out all right. So we had 11,000 net positive. They had 56,000 net negative. I do suppose if we consider last episode and a little bit of this episode, there were a number of surrenders and stuff where they were surrendering in 10, 20,000 increments. So I suppose that makes sense. Gun emplacements flat to them losing 265. Here we see our armor actually down 30 compared to their net growth of 53. And our air really has kicked up production, it seems. Low supply, 74, 61 unready. That kind of stayed similar, 156 under strength. We do see that we have 606 victory points versus a sudden victory of 600. So I don't know, does that mean we've technically won, or I don't think so. But RAF raids, they continue. Long range. Soviet partisans continue their activity. And more partisans around Ural, Kursk, and Smolensk regions. Okay, that's interesting. Let's take a look at that victory screen here, though, real quick. So we have 606 victory points. And we are not in October yet of 1943. We're in turn 38. I might have to look this up. Did we technically win this turn? We may have. Kind of looks like it. I was expecting some type of screen to pop up, though. Congratulations, comrade, or, something like that. But maybe we'll just keep on playing. We'll see. Thank you, everyone, so much for your continued support. Please leave feedbacks, comments, just enter anything that might be helpful down below. And as always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.